Today I want to look at the tradition of the Advent Wreath. You know, the Advent Wreath isn't strictly liturgical, but rather it's a devotion that's risen from the piety of the faithful. And that's one of the things I really love about it. There's all these symbols and customs attached to it, but it really comes from the heart of the laity, the heart of the faithful. The roots of the Advent Wreath are actually unknown. We know that in ancient pre-Christian cultures, they would light candles during winter to remind them of the coming light and warmth of spring. In Scandinavian pre-Christian cultures, they would light a wheel of candles to mark the days of winter. And so by the Middle Ages, Christians baptized this tradition, as we baptize so many cultural traditions, and they made it Christian by reminding themselves during Advent of the coming of the light of Christ. By the 1600s, we see both Lutherans and Catholics solidifying this tradition of the Advent Wreath. And by the 1900s, we have German immigrants bringing the tradition to America. So there's lots of symbolism attached to the wreath. We have an evergreen wreath usually that marks everlasting life. It's a circle to remind us of the eternity of God, that the light of Christ comes to give us eternal life, a share in God's life. You're probably familiar with 4 candles that are purple and rose to mark the liturgical colors. Purple reminding us of the penance of Advent, and rose reminding us of that joy of Gaudete Sunday. But you know, the original Advent wreaths probably had red candles marking the days of the week and white candles marking Sundays. And still to this day in Germany, it's far more traditional to have red candles in your Advent wreath. And so we see here that different people attach different customs and different symbolism to the Advent wreath. And there's no real right or wrong. It's whatever causes us to pray and to hope. And so we have people naming the different candles, like the shepherd's candle and the candle of Bethlehem. We have people saying the candles represent the patriarchs and the prophets and John the Baptist and the Blessed Mother. So again, we have all these different customs. And I think the most important thing is to make this part of your family's Advent tradition. We always lit the Advent candles before dinner, and we prayed a prayer before our prayer before meals to remind us that this was a special time. And as the light grows through those 4 weeks, we're reminded of the coming of the light of Christ. A light of Christ that's not just to dispel the darkness of winter, but to dispel that darkness of sin and error, and to free us, to bring us to eternal life. And that's a little theology in 3 minutes. Hey friends, exciting news for you. My very first book is available from Ave Maria Press. It's called Opening the Holy Door, and it's scriptural reflections on the virtue of hope. It's the perfect way to celebrate this Jubilee year, as together we are pilgrims of hope. You can find the link in the description below or go to joanwatson.faith to order your copy today.